current AI bubble is about to pop. Or so, that's what the experts would make you think. Let's take a look at the facts.
They told us there was a place across the ocean where a new world was being built. A world of invention, of possibility, of wealth measured not in steel or stone, but in ideas.
In the 1929 stock market crash, we saw excessive speculation, no real productivity gains, meaning companies weren't actually profitable, mass panic selling, bank failures and unemployment, and a total collapse of the system. Fast forward nearly 70 years, we see the same thing happen again, only this time with tech. Yep, that's right, the dot-com bubble.
Yeah, traffic doubled overnight. I'm pushing the update now.
Buy orders keep coming in. Look at that chart.
Let's go! Webboom's up 12% in an hour!
Congrats, team. Site launch complete.
High five! We're live!
Another tech company soars on its first day of trading, fueling what's now being called the dot-com boom.
In this scenario, we had everyone wanting in on the action. They all wanted to be internet startups. Companies that added a .com to their business skyrocketed, which led to hype over fundamental business practices. There was a venture capital craze where money just poured into these new .com startups without really even thinking about it. And just a few short years later, the bubble popped. The NASDAQ fell almost 78%. And only solid companies like Google, Amazon, companies built on actual frameworks and foundations survived. And what we learned here is the chasing of eyeballs, not actually profits. This is when venture capital started to skyrocket. And the funny thing about venture capital is that it's all about trust and faith. Take, for example, the Tai Lopez scandal that's going on right now, where he's being accused of creating a Ponzi scheme. If you were to take a look at his numbers through the eye of venture capital and company valuations, that company that is now in hot water for being a scam had a valuation close to $1 billion. More about that in just a minute.
Sell it all now, sell everything.
The automatons are breaking! Get out!
It's ruined, we're all ruined.
And now here we are in the mid-2020s, and we're seeing history repeat itself. Similar pattern of euphoria, startups are raising billions and billions of dollars before they even turn a profit. Hype around generative AI models and agent ecosystems is through the roof. There's a big corporate FOMO, fear of missing out, where companies are literally just throwing money at things so that they don't feel bad later. There's rising costs, mass unemployment due to AI. Yep, that's right. We're definitely in a bubble. But this time, it's a little different. And in today's training, I'm going to show you how I will be using AI during this bubble to make lots of money. Because let's face it, these are some strange times we're in, where Mr. Beast just registered a financial company. Elon Musk, worth over $500 billion, has never had a company profit more than $500 billion. And it seems like Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, and other billionaire bros just have their interest at heart and really don't care about the masses.
Boom! Another round closed.
And revenue's still flatter than a pancake, baby!
But look at that runway. We're unstoppable.
Untouchable!
Investors just keep hurling cash at us.
No profits!
To no profits! And infinite valuations.
Again, much like the crash of 1929, where it was all about the monopolies. So with all this information and the looming doom of the economy, what are people like me and you supposed to do? How are we going to make money, build businesses, and succeed? Well, that's what this training is all about. I'm going to walk you through exactly what's going on, what I'm doing to prepare, and how to make businesses that actually get profit. So if you're excited, smash that like button. We're going to dive into the ins and outs of the AI bubble and what you can do to profit. Come on, let's go to work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today what we're doing is we're talking about the AI bubble and whether it presents a huge opportunity or a complete bust. Now, no matter how you look at it, it actually contains both. And it depends on what you do in this AI bubble, in all of the information around AI that is going to put you further in your business. Now, before we get started, I want you to remember that while this is making me a lot of money, while there's a lot of things that I do online that make a lot of money, we need to remember I've been doing this for 25 years. The results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. In fact, the average person trying to quote unquote make money online makes nothing. So you want to take everything with a grain of salt, always do your due diligence and look at this as an actual business. Now, going back in time, I actually built my business during the dot-com bubble. I started out, I was about 20, 21 years old, and it was 1999 when I first started, actually like 98, 99, and 2000 when I started building my business. So I built my entire business that you see today, that runs today, back in that era where everyone was panicking, saying there's a dot-com bubble, saying that everything's going to crash. Fast forward, we actually survived the Great Recession and actually thrived in some of those times as well. Now, we're going to go through and we're going to look at how that works, because knowing that I built this in the last big bubble is kind of enlightening. This is something that is going to be very important because history repeats itself, as we've seen time and time again. Now, with AI, I think it's getting a lot more crazy because there's so many things going on, so many new tools coming out, that it's kind of hard to look at where to turn, and that's what this training is about. So, one of the things that I always like looking at is never forget where you came from and what your business built. Now, what we're going to be doing in this training is we're going to go through what I call a profitable time machine, where we're going to look at, okay, what should you have started back then that would have done really well now, and what's going on now that's going to be profitable in the future. This is super important because if you look at all of the news around these AI bubbles and everything like that, there's a lot of money being spent on AI. There's a lot of information going on around AI and all kinds of things. We could see the AI bubble inflates Microsoft CEO pay to almost $100 million a year, I believe it is, which is crazy. And you look at people like Elon Musk that seems to just get richer and richer and richer, no matter how good his companies actually perform. That is what we're seeing with the AI bubble, is basically tech bros are winning. The tech bros that are able to convince people that there's a lot of money, that's what we're looking at. Now, in the profitable time machine, we're going to go through in a little bit. We're going to look at the things that I started then that work now and will continue to work. SEO, getting ranked on search engines. Content marketing and content building. Influencer marketing, drop shipping, e-commerce, selling digital products, software as a service, membership sites, AI, and more. Now, we need to remember that no matter what happens in the news, in the tech bro world, in the AI world, right? You see people that are like, oh my gosh, Elon Musk should be worth $9 bazillion. Just give him all the money in the world. However, all of his companies combined have not made what his net worth is. And now he's asking for $1 trillion or something like that over at Tesla. So looking at that, does it make sense to invest more money than actually exists in the ecosystem? Well, more about that in a minute, because here's the deal. Once you understand this, the gates of unlocking the world of making money online start to open. Understanding that it's all about faith. The economy is about what people believe the economy is. If people believe there's a bubble and they invest in it, well, that's going to make the bubble bigger. If people stop believing in it and withdraw investment, that's going to make it smaller. Now, I want you to also realize, because we're not big people that can change the face of what people believe. Elon Musk, other big business people, Sam Altman, Zuckerberg, all of these people in business do have the ability to do that, right? They could go out there and they can create a different narrative. They can create a different faith, and that's what happens. Now, what can we do? Well, faith shows in the data. Faith shows in what people search for. They pay with their searches. They pay with their money. Are people investing in their own AI? I personally, 5 years ago, I spent nothing on AI tools. Today, we're spending thousands of dollars a month on AI tools. Now, looking at this, we could see that the term AI bubble, according to Google Trends, is skyrocketing. Okay, that's faith. That's what people believe. They're worried, so they go search. This is something that's actually happening. Now, is it tied to money? Is there like an actual monetary collapse happening as they search it? No, but this does show consumer behavior, which is key. Understanding this is big. Recession. Also, we saw it spike in 2022. We are seeing it kind of mellowing out now, but still getting a lot of searches. Also, the word AI, huge growth in search terms. Inflation, again, spiked in 2022, kind of mellowed out now. Now, let's get into some important terms that always happen that are triggers of recessions and depressions. One, can't afford. From 2004 to now, it has gone up exponentially. So looking at that, what are things that people can't afford? This tells us, all right, well, if people can't afford things, that's pretty much what a recession is, or an AI bubble or whatever, right? Credit card debt, again, spiking, just like it did in 2010. We are seeing it is spiking again. So you can see here it started spiking in 08. What happened after 08? Well, we had a recession. What's happening now? Well, it's starting to peak again. We also see can't pay house, can't pay mortgage. This one was kind of a weird one. I don't think there was that much data on it, but it has some. But can't pay house was a big one. So looking at these, we're saying, okay, well, what are consumers saying? What are they looking at? Now, that's what consumers are saying. Let's turn to the experts, because obviously these people with hundreds of billions of dollars at their discretion throwing money at AI like it's running out of style or going out of style, obviously they know some things. So let's take a look at what some people are saying. The first perspective is it's a massive bad bubble. That sounds like something Trump would say. It's going to be bad. It's a huge bubble. The bubble is the greatest bubble we've ever seen. Something like that. But a lot of people are saying it's a massive bad bubble. Okay? The AI boom is driven by hype, not real demand. That's their argument. Spending is disconnected from revenue. I do agree with this. Spending is completely disconnected from revenue. Looking at OpenAI as a $500 billion company, when they are struggling to keep the doors open financially, that's going to lead to something bad, right? That can only go bad unless they start turning a profit, which I don't think their new adult version of AI is going to make that much to cover the losses. However, they do have long plans on the horizon. If you were to look at Amazon back in the early 2000s, you'd be like, hey, this business is struggling. Let's get out of this. However, they did have a long-term plan. So maybe that's what's going on. Another school of thought says it's a small bubble. It's just a little bubble, kind of like 1999, but this is mild. There's not a whole lot going on there. AI is going to continue to grow. The bubble may expand with further Fed easing, but it's a little market correction. Nothing big, nothing to worry about. Another school of thought is it's a bubble, but hey, it's a good bubble. This is like a really good bubble. Economists, tech optimists, Silicon Valley and futurists are saying, like the biotech or railway bubbles, even wasteful speculation builds infrastructure. We saw Jeff Bezos come out and talk about this. Flippantly was like, oh, hey, wait a minute. AI's a big bubble. It's going to crash the economy. People are going to be out of jobs, but it'll be a good thing. Okay, well, thanks for that. Sitting on a throne of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, it is easy to say that, but what about the rest of us? This training is about the rest of us. And if you want to learn things that are going to help you survive and hopefully thrive in these challenging times, smash a like button and let me know you want more videos like this in the comments. We could see here that people that think it's a good bubble are saying it's volatile but ultimately productive. Crash cleans out weak players. All right, that could also be known as like crashes lead to giant corporations taking over, big monopolies, things like this. So understanding that is kind of key, because I do see that right now with the environment, the way it's going, and the fact that Google barely got a slap on the wrist for monopoly type stuff is kind of telling of what's going on. Like, yeah, you have all the consolidated power with OpenAI and Microsoft and all these companies that are dominating AI, Facebook, all of these companies. It is going to get out the weak players. And by weak, that means, that would be with less money. Unfortunately, in this environment, money wins, and a lot of people have a lot more money than all of us combined. So looking at that is kind of important. The bubble's existence is irrelevant. This is another school of thoughts that says, hey, the markets are going to rise and fall, but overall, it's not really that relevant. last school of thought is by Goldman Sachs and other VC analysts, is that it's a bubble, but it won't pop yet. Keyword yet. Now, they're saying continued capital flow into AI, robotics, and automation. Now, I have a mixed view, being in the AI world all day, every day for the last 3 years. I've seen things change, I've seen things happen, and I think I have a little bit different of a view than a lot of these. I think it is a bubble. I think there is a lot of investment in venture capital without the promise of this is how it's concretely going to make money. I think a lot of it is hype. However, I mean, they're going to have to figure out how to make it profitable, so that will come down to the wire. Now, the key points that I find in the AI bubble, number one, the market has responded. All right, whether you've seen it or not, the market has responded. How? The stock market's bigger than it's ever been. I know that, whoever is in office likes to tout it's because of them, but when the market's up, it's always bigger than it's ever been because things rise, populations grow, and the money supply grows. So it's always going to be that. Looking at it and understanding things objectively is absolutely key, and that's what we're here to do, is look at things objectively and understand where is stuff going, how is it working, what do we want to get involved in, and where's this going? Now, the market has responded how? The stock market's up, AI is fueling a lot of that. So the market responded, said AI, yes, good, we want that. Next, we have seen that the market has responded by saying we want AI content. Now, personally, I watch a video, I know it's AI, I can't stand it, I turn it off and go watch a human. I'm not the norm. The norm is people watching it. Just the other day, I was at my gym, I was on the bike, and the guy sitting next to me had an AI video. I could tell it's AI because this is what I do, and I know the voice of AI. And I was like, wow, that guy sit through a 15-minute video. It was a health video, and it was all AI. Okay, well, I'm not the norm. People are consuming AI content. AI content is making Facebook zillions, that's a joke, billions in ad revenue. Same with YouTube. There's a lot of AI content. It's getting views. People are watching it. Yes, people want AI content. They watch AI content. They use AI tools. We see that the market is saying, yes, we want AI tools. The amount of people using ChatGPT is astronomical. The amount of people using other AI tools, astronomical. And last but not least, the vast majority of people out there don't mind spending money on AI. $20 chat subscription here, $50 subscription over here, Lovable, AI tools, whatever it is, they are spending money. So there might be a bubble, but it's fueled by desire. People want it. That's the first principle of business. If people want it, you got a business and it'll thrive. If they don't want it, you're spinning your wheels. Very important. So looking at this and understanding where we're going and what's happening is absolutely 1,000% key. So we need to understand, okay, what's going on? Now, let's talk about the bad things, and then we're going to get into our time machine. We're going to show you where the money is headed, in my professional opinion, having gone through several recessions, having gone through the dot-com bubble, having looked at direct response business, and knowing common sense that dictates, well, when people have no money, they're going to need money. When businesses have no customers, they're going to need customers. These are important things that do not fail. They have been since the dawn of time. A guy who sold, food back in ancient Egypt on the street corner, he needed customers. It's the same thing. What did he do? He put a sign up, hey, in 500 walking yards or whatever they used as a metric system over there, you're going to get these foods or whatever. Very important. So let's look at some of the things that are bad and some of the things to watch out for. One of the things in this AI bubble is circular investment and round tripping. What does this mean? This means major AI firms are investing in each other. So like if you came to me and you're like, hey, if you invest in me, I'll buy your stuff, and then you can come back and invest in me again. All right, that's not real demand. That's artificial demand. One of my pet peeves that I have, and I feel like I'm alone in this pet peeve, so let me know if you're with me, is the fact that billionaire gurus can have a platform and manipulate a business or a stock overnight. Literally overnight. Like Elon Musk, if he wanted to come out, or Bezos, or anyone wanted to come out and say, we don't like this affiliate marketing dude guy, well, I'm out of business the next day, whether I'm doing good or not. Like, money talks. That's the way it is. And unfortunately, it manipulates certain things, and it can change the way that people feel about different products. And, you know, the masses follow the loud voices, unfortunately. But what's happening here is these companies are doing this, and everyone's listening to the big voices, the big loud voices, not thinking, hey, wait a minute, even billionaires have an ulterior motive. And looking at that and understanding, okay, what do billionaires really want? More power and more money. Like, that's why they're still working. We get people on the channel all the time, and they're like, Marcus, if you've made money online, why don't you just quit, go retire on an island? Well, I love what I do. And, you know, I like to make more money. That's kind of what I do. And going through and looking at that, well, why wouldn't Mark Cuban retire? Why wouldn't all these people with $500 billion retire? Why are they still talking about this? Why are they still in the mix? Well, it's a different breed of people. It's a different understanding. And if we understand what makes them work, we can make good decisions about what we do. And one of the things that I learned in business is that I'm only going to do what I can control and what I understand. If I don't understand something, I don't invest in it, and I don't do it. I do what I understand, and I do what makes sense to me. Now, looking at this circular investment and round tripping, this is kind of like the VC bros all patting each other on the back. It's like, okay, you go to the frat party and everyone's hanging out and they're like, hey bro, I'll give you $100 if you give me $100, and you give me 100 and I'll give you 100. Hey bro, we all made 100. No, you didn't. One guy had $100. You're counting it as thousands, but you just passed it to each other. That's all that happened here, right? It literally is like a VC frat party, which kind of was the dot-com era as well. A lot of businesses and dot-coms and things like that were bolstered up. And really what it was people that weren't in the trenches, that didn't understand money, right? They weren't in the trenches. They didn't get in there. They were like people who were born with lots of money. They don't understand the trenches like people who had to get there. Back when I started, and even me, right? Even me. Like, I was born in affluence, where we weren't like super rich, but we weren't in want. Right? We always had food. We always had everything we needed. We always had a house, nice house and everything like that. We were never in want. So, you know, to someone else who had to bootstrap it real, my information might be a little bit different. But to a lot of billionaires and a lot of people that come from like trust fund money and things like that, the venture capital world understands business differently. Yet we're all listening to them. Right? Like, all the people in the business circles I'm in, they're like, oh, hey, let's listen to these guys. However, that might not be the advice that you need. That might not be the stuff that's going to help you, right? Sure, it's going to help them. Obviously, they're getting rich. But what's going to help us? Now, rant over. We see all this circular investment where it's literally hyping things up, but it's not going anywhere. Also, we see the profitability paradox, right? It kind of almost doesn't matter in VC right now what the actual earnings are. You got a $500 billion valuation with barely $13 billion in revenue, and this is one of the most known companies on planet Earth. Like, everybody knows ChatGPT and OpenAI. They literally come out with news, and it's news overnight, super fast, everyone's looking at it. Now, the 2025 commitments exceed $1.3 trillion, more than the U.S. defense budget. That's a pretty big amount of the commitments they have. 95% of companies using LLMs have not turned a profit. Interesting. I didn't know that one until I just read it now. 95% of companies using large language model AIs have not turned a profit. Now, my company has been extremely profitable since day one with AI. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. You can look at it. You can see exactly what's going on. Again, remember, the results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Average person trying to make money online makes nothing. Take this with a grain of salt. This is about business. It's about understanding this stuff. Accounting tricks. A lot of these venture capital AI companies are doing accounting tricks where they're like, hey, this looks profitable, but it's not. Not always the most ethical thing to do. Concentration risk, the Magnificent Seven, controlling or owning about 35% of the S&P 500. That's a lot. Remove them and the market shows zero growth. All right, I'd have to fact check that, but I'm sure it's pretty on point, which means There's not a whole lot of growth there. A lot of it is funny money. National security angle, we'll do that one later. Economic and social impact. Without AI, US GDP growth equals 0%. Interesting. I think that it makes sense because after all of the hits we took in the early 2020s, we were kind of stagnant, and then AI came out, and all of a sudden the stock market's doing great. So looking at that's interesting. Also, we see the billionaires are like getting bunkers apparently, right? So they're planning for something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that means anything. I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, looking at this, we also see that data centers are getting big. AI tools are overhyped and underperforming. Just yesterday, we did a video on ChatGPT, OpenAI's browser. I thought it was like the biggest nothing ever. I was like, wow, this is news? Like, literally, it's the same thing you had on the side of browser. Like, it's literally right here, but you made a new browser to hype everything up. Again, it's about a lot of hype. And, you know, there was a good phrase, a good book years ago that was called There's a Sucker Born Every Minute, which basically in our day and age, we are following people that have billions of dollars, which might not have the best outlook for you personally. It's up to us to do our due diligence, and the people that survive and thrive, are they gonna be the ones that think for themselves rather than just watching what happens? Anyone could watch the news and have an opinion. Everyone's got opinions. They're everywhere. They're a dime a dozen. Some of them are good, some of them are terrible, some of them aren't worth the paper they're printed on. Starting to look at that and say, I am going to make my own decision, I'm going to make my own opinion, regardless of what else is going on out there. Everyone else is talking about why ChatGPT's browser is the greatest thing since sliced bread, probably so they can get some traffic. I'm going to give my honest opinion on things as they come out. Now, the coming crash here is saying it's likely triggered by failed earnings or broken contracts, investor panic, and a market halt. We are seeing things slow. I read a report that said ChatGPT use is actually slowing. Back in the day, I mean, if you look at these things that I mentioned back in 2006, I had mentioned a housing crisis. Everyone was like, no, there's not a housing crisis. It's just the greatest time ever to be involved in real estate. Well, that didn't pan out too good. I also talked about when I first came out with a video on AI, I talked about it as a programming play. Everyone was like, no, it's about writing and creativity and things. And I was like, no, this is a programming play. It's going to upend the programming industry. That is what it's doing today. That is how I'm making a lot of money today in the programming industry with AI. Once you understand, it's about doing what you know works based on data and following it through. This is why people struggle. This is why the vast majority of businesses never take off, because they're not keeping going with the data. They're not going and looking at exact things that will make things work. We are here to make things work, not to hope they work. A lot of people get a business and they're like, I hope it works. I didn't. Back here, when I was in this mobile home and I was struggling, I was like, I know this is gonna work. And people told me, they said, what's your backup plan? Right, I just graduated high school. I had no prospects. I sold computers and I made, if I was lucky, $2,500 a month. I was really good at selling it, but the company that I worked for did not like paying me for sales. I remember one night I got $20,000 in computer sales with the extended warranties. I thought I was gonna be rich, and I got a check for $200. So that was kind of tough back then. But understanding this is key, and understanding where we're going, and understanding, hey, when I built my business back in 1999, 2000, and people said, find a backup plan, I said, I don't have a backup plan. Now, that was me. Maybe it was silly. Maybe it was stupid. But I knew based on the data that internet stuff would work. I knew that internet marketing would work. I knew there was a bubble going on. But I also knew the internet's here to stay. That's what's happening with AI. It's not going anywhere, right? How did the AI bubble, or how did the dot-com bubble pan out? Well, it popped, and then it grew bigger. It's even bigger now. Like the internet bubble now is bigger. It encompasses the AI bubble. Without the internet.com bubble, there would be no AI bubble. We wouldn't even be talking about this right now. So starting to look at this and starting to understand, okay, this is a blip in the bucket. What are the facts? What's actually going to work? On another side note, I want to bring up something very important to those who want to build a business online. If you are trying to build a business online, and you're in an affluent country, United States, England, somewhere where it's affluent, pay close attention, because some countries out there using AI because they have to, right? Like back when I started my business, I had to. I had no other options. I had a family to feed. I had to go do it. There was no failure. I had to go and figure out what worked. And if something failed, I'd figure out how to make it work. But what we're seeing now is AI has leveled the world's playing field for the middle class, most people. And you might see people in other countries, like you have India. India's GDP is rising very fast, big time in part to AI. A lot of the content that you see created with AI is from other countries. Why? Because they need it. They want it. They're out there getting it. So if you want to make money with AI, you're probably already behind the game if you're not started, which means you need to catch up fast and now, and you need to look at facts, and you need to stop listening to every different opinion and focus on one direction. Now, Philippines, China, and India are getting big boosts. Now, Philippines is kind of a scary one because I outsource. I have a lot of employees in the Philippines, and unfortunately, AI is taking out a lot of jobs there. Okay, why? Because they're smaller jobs, pay less, a lot can be automated, and it's coming here now. It's starting to happen in the US. Now, let's take a look at the history of US depressions. Let's look at what we can learn, and let's look at what worked. In the 1920s depression, you had giant companies, you had monopolies, you had all kinds of things going on. But what worked, and this is our money time machine, right? We're looking at this and we're like, okay, well, what worked in the 1920s during and after the Depression? A lot of people were out of work. A lot of people were moving their houses across the country and didn't even know where they were going. And they were struggling. And money was scarce. It was very, very bad times, except for, the monopolies and the billionaires back then, which was hundreds of millions back then, but inflation adjusted, you would see how that works. So now looking at this, in the 1920s depression, we could see that there was an industry trend that worked. Print advertising got huge around this time. This is where your magazines came around, your periodicals, things like that, a lot of information marketing, a lot of print stuff, and we could see print advertising and copywriting was big, right? Now, in the short term, advertising fell. Okay, the number of ads fell. But as people came back, they realized we need business. That was something that worked well. Small agencies or freelance copywriters could offer hard-selling print ad campaigns, marketing, magazine newspapers, emphasizing value, survival, necessity rather than luxury. So it's a switch, it's an adapting. Going through here, direct mail and catalog marketing. This got really big as well. And yes, this is all going to come full circle because history repeats itself. We are going to see this happen again. The only difference is now we have AI, which makes this stuff 1,000 times easier. Only, I believe that the biggest AI bubble right now is not a financial bubble. Okay? Let me say that again. I believe that the biggest AI bubble right now is not a financial bubble. It's in the fact that right where you sit, you have one of the most powerful thinking tools, the powerful thinking tools of all time, and what are you doing with them? That's where I was talking about up here, where a lot of these countries that need it, right? They need money. They're struggling. They're going to eat the AI money for lunch because they're out there and they're doing it every day where, unfortunately, a lot of people are like, well, I'm comfortable, so I'll just dabble in this AI stuff and hope it works. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that because there are people that are hungry that want to get this stuff and they are getting it and they are making it and it is working and there will be a economic money shift. We are going to see it happen. Next up, radio advertising and sponsored programming. I mean, nothing new under the sun. That's basically what podcasting is today. Podcast ads, things like that. So starting to look at that, you have all kinds of stuff. In the 1930s, Procter & Gamble made all kinds of ads and things like that, reaching homemakers. Market research and segmentation services. This is where you came out with the SRDS. and different books that would say, hey, these are the people who read this magazine. These are the people who get these ads. These are the people who get this. All of that is very, very important, okay? Going to look at that and focus, super important. Now, also going through value necessity-oriented branding and copywriting and advertising for different goods, food and utilities and all that other stuff. So what happened here? Advertising went through the roof. All right, so advertising went through the roof here. Those who learned advertising made money. Why? Because companies need business. What's going to happen next time a bubble pop? Companies going to need business. What's going to happen when the stock market goes up? Companies need new business. There's an old adage in marketing that says when business is good, you've ought to advertise. When business is bad, you've got to advertise, meaning it's no longer a luxury, but now a necessity. And when things hit the fan, you're going to see advertising companies, those who can get customers, are going to be key. Think about this. I have a video coming out probably next week, maybe the following week, which is about how to use AI to get customers. If you can use AI to get customers, you can make money. Now, of course, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Most people make nothing. But understanding that the key is customers. If I go to a business and I'm like, hey, I have a customer that's willing to buy your stuff, do you think they're not going to pay me? Of course they are. I have a paid customer. Very important. Now, in the 2000 dot-com bust, key industries that grew or emerged stronger after. Again, this is our time machine. We're looking at this saying, what worked? What worked? What can we see? What can we get involved in? Because right now, I believe it's a chance where you have the powerful tools and the ability to reach an audience now. People ask me all the time, Marcus, how fast can you get traffic? Literally right now. Literally, there are people online right now searching for the product that you could get paid to sell. What's stopping it? Either you don't know how or you just don't want to do it. That's really the only two sides of the coin, right? And that's where it comes down to, some people do realize the power of these tools. Some people realize it and they use them for making money or building content or whatever it is. Now, looking at this, the industry trend that grew was digital internet advertising, search and keyword ads. Now, again, remember, back in the year 1999, I started my business. This was me. I was out there. I was trying to make it work. I had no money. I had a kid on the way. My wife was pregnant, and we were like, okay, what am I going to do? I was doing magic shows on the weekends, and some weekends were good. I'd make $750 on a weekend. And it's like, hey, that's cool. But it wasn't enough to live in Southern California with a wife and a child. It was not even close. And so I needed to figure out what to do. And so I went out there and I learned digital advertising. I learned search marketing. I learned how to reach customers. I learned direct response marketing. This is one I learned on accident. I wasn't even looking for it. When I was trying to be a magician, I came across an ad. The guy's now a marketer, and he was talking about how to market your stuff. And I learned direct response marketing. But what I did is I went out and sought things. I remember I opened a magic magazine, and I'd call people. I'd be like, hey, you got sales. How did you do that? And they'd talk to me about it. And they're like, hey, buy my stuff. And I'm like, I'm broke, but when I get a sale, I'll buy some stuff. And I went out there, and I looked for the info I needed. I was very keen on, I only need what I need. This is important. In the age of AI, if the internet is information superhighway, AI is the misinformation superhighway, because anyone can say anything super fast and get it out there super fast, and it will make you think a certain way. I have a family member, unfortunately, watches a bunch of religious AI videos that are not made by religious people. They're made by people who want to get paid for views. So when you're seeing that stuff out there that you're like, I can't believe this video, they're doing it for views because they're getting paid. Now, the ethics on some of that stuff, no, not good. We want to put out good stuff, but unfortunately, my brother watches these, and he's like, oh, wow, this says this about the Bible. And I'm like, okay, well, did you fact check it? And he'll get all depressed, and he'll have like a month of depression. And I'm like, dude, it's just fake content. You're literally getting depressed over fake content that nobody thought about it. It's just put together for views. And understanding this is key, because if you have info overload now and you want to build a business and make money online with AI, good luck. You're going to have to learn how to really focus in because it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and more information's coming out, and it's coming out super fast. And even I, who's done this a long time, who knows how to weed out what I want, I feel like sometimes it's coming at a fire hose pace and like 10 fire hoses. Now, SEO and website optimization is something that I built up as well. After the bubble, web was no longer a novelty. It needed to happen. I mean, you look at it, and the people who were crying about the dot-com bubble back then and the people who were hurt financially in the dot-com bubble, like, if you would have just stayed the course, you would have seen it would have been a good thing. And maybe that's what Jeff Bezos means is, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be a net positive. In the short term, it could be a negative. And that's what we want to look at. Even the Great Depression, if you were to look at the stock market over 100 years, it's very hard to see the Great Depression because it was just a little blip, right? You might miss it if you're not paying attention because things will grow, and starting to understand that and looking at where the money is going to go. So in the dot-com bubble, where did the money eventually go? Well, it went to advertising. It went to Google. It went to Amazon. It went to Facebook, YouTube, MySpace. I got some of that money. I did a lot of stuff with MySpace back in the day. Made some good money there. And it went in these different places. And if you can see where it's going, there's one really good side to it. And that is that a lot of these tools and a lot of these companies do rev shares with people. So like YouTube has a program where you get paid with the views. That's why people make videos, because they get a small portion of ad revenue based on the views. Okay, it's not huge, but some people get a lot of views and they make a lot of money. Like we talked about Mr. Beast early on. Dude makes a fortune in that stuff. Starting to understand it. Facebook has a rev share program. ChatGPT has talked about making affiliate program. Perplexity has a program. All kinds of things like this. We're seeing the change. And if you can understand and spot the stuff early, I think it'll start to change the way that you think about making money online. SEO and website optimization, I made millions of dollars with this. Worked really, really well. Sometimes it was hard. Sometimes it was easier than I thought it'd be. I'll never forget one of the sites we had. It was like a 3-page website. It ranked super good, super fast. It made more money than I ever imagined. And it was kind of like, okay, I just wake up and check my numbers because it was automated. Now, again, do I make money off of that today? No, that was a MySpace one, and MySpace ain't around anymore. But I did have a good run on that. I did make money, and luckily I was smart with some of it. Some of it I was not smart with. But understanding, okay, these are not guaranteed. They're not typical. But where is the money going, and how do I get in the way of it? SEO still works today. I still do SEO. We still rank websites. We still make money with them. It still works today. A lot of people are kind of like looking at the new thing and ignoring the old. Because while ChatGPT has been sucking up all of the money in the VC space, I mean, they get investments like it's going out of style. Google has quietly been making $500 billion a year. $500 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And starting to understand, wait a minute, maybe, just maybe, history repeats itself and we can see where things are going and position ourselves in a good way, right? What is ChatGPT? Well, ChatGPT is using search elements much like how Google uses search elements. Only, yeah, Google gets 8 million searches every 60 seconds. ChatGPT gets some. Looking at this objectively and understanding numbers over hype is key. If you understand numbers over hype, you win. There was a guy back in the 2008 housing crisis. He knew it was coming. Now, my dad and I knew it was coming too, because he was a realtor, and he's like, yeah, you really can't buy a house for $600,000 on the salaries that are in this area. So yeah, there's a bubble. There's something there. And that's when you see bubbles, is when there's a discrepancy. Like right now, yes, houses and interest rates are not supported by the income of the people buying the houses and interest rates. So something's got to give. And we got to look at what's going to give and how. Either the rates are going to drop, the prices are going to drop, or both. Unfortunately, in 2008, we saw both happen. So looking at that and understanding with AI, okay, does it make sense? Is ChatGPT profitable? No. Will they be? Maybe. What is profitable? Well, Google's suite of AI tools is profitable. Okay, Sora. Okay, do people make profit on it? Yes. Do I make money with Sora and AI and ChatGPT? Yes, I do really well with them. But it's about understanding how they work, not just looking at them as a tool. What am I going to do with a tool? I can have the best saw ever, but if I don't know how to cut things, it's not going to do me any good. I need to know how to use it. I could have the best hammer. If I don't know how to get the nail in the wall, it's not going to be worth anything, right? Starting to understand that's key. I mean, imagine back in the day if you had a farm and you had 100 people work on the farm, and some guy comes along and he's like, you know how much you pay those 100 people? Yeah. Instead of paying 100 of them every year, buy this tractor, which costs as much as 10 of them, and it'll do all their job. That's what you have. So it's time to get your farm, whether it's, making content, building a mailing list, building something of value, making software. You got to get your farm. Your farm is your infrastructure, your niche, what you're building from. Data, ad network, web design and infrastructure, interactive media, direct response, and performance marketing online. Very, very important. When things hit the fan, people need money, and the best way to get money is to get customers. Direct response is the best way to get customers because you're doing direct response. You're getting direct customers from something you do right now. So let's take a look at the profitable time machine. What we should have done. All right, hindsight is always 20/20, and if we can look through the lens of hindsight and see forward, I think we're going to have a good shot. I know I am, and I've been pretty good at some of these trends. Could probably do better, but hey, I've always been kind of a one-man operation. I do have a team, but a lot of this stuff ends and begins with me. So starting to look at this and understanding is key. 2001 to 2005, we had the post-dot-com crash recovery. Companies slashed budgets. Most websites were static and ugly. Guess what? Static and ugly works. Look at Google. Look at Amazon, eBay. Top companies. A lot of people come to me. They're like, Marcus, your sites are ugly. Yeah, I know. It's on purpose because it sells. Web design studios, so what would have been profitable? Web design studios, freelance SEO, pay-per-click services, domain flipping, parking, WordPress site builders, social media management services. That was back before social media, but that was probably pretty good. Actually, that's the next one. Businesses needed to rebuild online presence cheaply after the crash. Few could code. Okay, now you have coding tools at your fingertips. SEO and AdWords were new and easy arbitrage opportunities. That was one I made really good with AdWords and AdSense. We did very good. Also got into WordPress in like 2008. Blogger, AdWords, GoDaddy domain auctions. So these worked back then. Guess what? They still work today. I still make money with all of those. 2006 to 2010, we had the rise of MySpace, YouTube, Facebook. Small businesses began realizing they needed an online voice on these platforms, where you would have a music band that played music and wanted to get hype. They would go to MySpace Music. We made a lot on MySpace Music. And starting to look at that and understand, okay, these are where the trends are going. Where are they going now? What's happening now? Is there a way that these little businesses can use AI or Facebook or something like that? There are a lot of businesses that we can help. Going through here, social media management, blog setup, monetization agencies, affiliate marketing sites. I did a lot of that, hence the affiliate marketing dude right there on my shirt. Other side, there we go, right? Email marketing setup, Aweber, constant contact, mobile website conversion. Low competition and huge demand for get me on Google. People wanted to get ranked. I started my business in 2001, 1999, 2000, 2001, where we would get people ranked, build a website for them, help them get ranked, get them traffic, everything like that, and monetize it. Very important. It still works today. Only now it's get me ranked on ChatGPT. Most of that is a vanity number, although I do see a lot of traffic for my video promotion website on ChatGPT. We get a lot of traffic from that. 2011 to 2015, smartphone responsive design became must-haves. YouTube exploded. Content marketing took off. Okay? I was a little behind this one. I didn't really get into YouTube until about 2018, 17. Before that, I just used it to host my videos because I didn't have a good video host. But then I got into it in 2018. I was a little behind on that, but I did really well with that. Still do, obviously. Here we are, right? YouTube channel managers, SEO blogging agencies, e-com, Shopify. We saw companies grow. like vidIQ, TubeBuddy, different SEO tools, things like that. We also noticed in 2011 to 2015, Google started penalizing thin content, which was MFA, or made for affiliate marketing, made for AdSense. They would start to penalize bad content, and they needed quality. So writers became more popular. Writing services became more popular. Super, super big stuff. Shopify simplified e-com, mobile optimized redesigns were pretty good. So starting to look at that is very, very important. Faith says, I run a drop shipping business, although I started 6 months ago and made some good money. It's actually simple to do. All right, well, thanks for that, Faith. Going through and looking at all this is very important. And we want to start to understand exactly where it's at, right? So influencer marketing automation tools in 2016 to 2020. We have remote work tech, all kinds of stuff like that, chatbots, funnels, builders. This was very popular. We also had 2020 to 2023, businesses rushed online, a lot of restaurant services. You had the explosion of companies like DoorDash and things like that. Very big, okay? Also, some people went and did online gyms rather than in-person gyms. Very important there. What are the lessons we get from the time machine? Well, first of all, the trend was cheap web hosting. So in the beginning, cheap web hosting came out, which meant small business websites went big. Web design and SEO agencies was the opportunity. Rise of search and AdWords, get me ranked. SEO freelancers, pay-per-click managers, boom, propped up. Social media democratization, meaning everyone can have all of this. DIY marketing era. Going through here and understanding everything is super key, because now it's like, okay, now we can do DIY marketing. Now I can understand marketing. Now in the age of AI, everyone wants to do DIY marketing. They're doing what I call busy work, which is like, okay, we're doing work, but we're not really getting something from that work. Sure, I have 1 million posts out there, but are the posts doing anything? That's the key. That's where direct response is going to come in. This is all going to come full circle, and you'll understand where it's at. Also going through the mobile shift, new redesign wave where websites needed to be mobile friendly. Mobile optimization services got big. Remote digital work, hybrid work systems, automation, and productivity. This was very important. At the timing of what happened in the early 2020s and the timing of AI was interesting. Like, okay, that's weird. It's almost like it was a prep. Right? It's like, okay, we're prepping us for this. We're learning how to work at home, and now we can do all this other stuff. Interesting things here, okay? AI explosion, mass confusion, new workflows, AI integration consultants, prompt engineers, AI agency in a box startups. Very important. A lot of stuff with AI here. Now, what are the takeaways? Here we go, and then we'll get into how I'm going to make money with this. Every crash or new tech cycle leaves service gaps where small, agile operators, low funds, like don't get top heavy with spending. A lot of people are like, oh, I'll just spend my way to wealth. Okay, well, if you could do that, then we'd all do that. But you can't. You have to be smart with your money, and you have to understand what you're doing. Small, able to change, able to adapt. That's what's kept me open for 25 years. I know there's a lot of gurus out there. Some of them, I started my business when they were like 2. And I've been doing this a long time. Now, some of them make way more than me. That's fine. I mean, to each his own. But understanding, okay, do you want a flash in the pan, or do you want something that's going to work, something good, something that you feel good about that helps people? That's the key here. So the service gaps, after the dot-com crash, it was web design and SEO freelancers. After the 2008 financial crisis, online content and social media. After 2020, remote and e-com. And then the AI boom, which is all about automation and AI integration. Now, what I see as one of the biggest things is direct response marketing. What is direct response marketing? That is a lean, mean customer getting machine. We want something lean that gets customers, that doesn't cost a lot, that gives us a direct ROI. Not like, oh, in 10 years, people will buy our product. No. We want them to buy it like in 10 minutes, right? We want something fast. We want something that works. Always profitable business categories rebuilt for the AI era. Communication and storytelling is going to be big. Why? Because AI is going to take personality out of a lot of stuff. And I know that, it's much like how, my parents' age group, can't stand automated phone stuff or texting, right? It's like, I don't want to text my order. I just want to call and have them order it. I don't want to order online, stuff like that. It's going to be a different adoption. Communication and storytelling is going to be important. Every company must communicate, brand, message, and sell. AI makes it faster, cheaper, and more personalized. You could literally help companies come up with stories by listening to them, running it in AI, and having it help you. Education and skill building, AI tutors, learning platforms, and coaches. This is going to be a big one. Learn with AI platforms, I believe, is going to be very big. Health, fitness, and wellness. There's a lot of talk in this stuff with AI fitness coaches, sleep organizers, personalized plans, all kinds of stuff like that. I wouldn't get into that because there's a lot of regulation and stuff, and I don't know it, so if I'm not an expert in it, I don't feel like I could give good value there. Money and financial, like a lot of calculators, AI bookkeeping, tools, things like that. Visibility and lead generation, AI marketing automation. This is big. Like if you learn this, you can build a business. Security and trust is going to get bigger. Efficiency and automation. Entertainment and escapism, where people just want to zone out and be entertained. We're seeing that this is actually pretty big. In every era entertainment sells, now it's personalized, interactive, and scalable. That's why a lot of companies are making this type of stuff. Real estate and local services, relationships and community, legal, compliance and policy, infrastructure, and energy. Now, looking at the timeless small business adaptations, we have web design, agency, AI website builder, and human polishing. This is where I think the key is going to be. Human in the mix. Human in the process. Having a human in the process is key. Going through and understanding AI is just a tool. A lot of people have videos on, I asked ChatGPT to make me rich. Well, good luck with that. ChatGPT is not going to make you rich. It's what you do with the content. Next week, we have a video coming out where I'm going to go through and show my ChatGPT account and talk about why the stuff in my account has been worth over 7 figures, whereas most of your guys' ChatGPT stuff is not worth much because it's not positioned correctly and it was made as busy work. Unfortunately, as job people, and maybe this is why I missed the memo, I didn't go to college, I never really had a job longer than a couple of months, but understanding this is key because what was done in college and in jobs, which is fine, it works for that setting, but when you translate it to online stuff, we miss the memo by thinking busy work is where the money's made. It's not. It's not made in busy work, right? Amazon doesn't make money because they have organized shelves. They make money because they know how to sell online. That's how they make money. Having organized shelves helps them get the product out, fine, but that's not what makes money. Most people trying to make money online are organizing shelves, expecting it to make money when the money comes from the sales. That's where it comes from. Traffic, sales, ads, revenue, not busy work. Far too many people are using AI for busy work because they just don't see it a different way, and that's what I try to teach here on the channel. Copywriter, ad agency, AI copy lab with a human voice, scalable storytelling, faster delivery. Business coaches and consultants, bookkeepers, real estate agent, fitness coaches, like an AI workout generator, and all of these things. SEO is also going to be big. I think that there has been an uptick in SEO in the last couple months, which is really good. Now, the meta rule is if it solves a problem, AI amplifies it. Save time, AI fixes with automation agents. Make money, optimization and targeting, ad opportunities, affiliate toolkits, AI analytics. It's enhancing it. It's not replacing it. It's not changing it. It's enhancing it. Feeling connected, AI personalization. Unfortunately, a lot of people are talking to chatbots like it's their friend. And it's a probability engine. That's what it is. It's making the probabilities of things. Think about it driving down the road. What's the probability this guy's going to cut in front of the car? AI is calculating that. When you ask it a question, AI is saying, okay, what's the probability that what he asked means this, and what's the probability that this answer is going to equal this? That's all it is, right? So you're literally, it's not what a lot of people think it is. Looking at all that's key. Now, when we look at this and we understand what is it that I'm doing, what is Marcus doing in this whole AI bubble situation? Well, first of all, I'm doubling down on teaching AI methods. Why? Because it keeps me going. Like, teaching this stuff to you guys forces me to look at the new things, use them, and adapt. If I wasn't teaching, I don't think I would have latched onto AI the way that I did back in 2022, 2023. Probably would have missed it. But because I'm teaching, it keeps me on top of these things. Also, I'm going to use AI to help productivity for myself, for my clients, and for my team. Having this work is key. Now, with AI, we can do the work of 5 programmers, and I still only have 1. Why? Because AI helps us. SEO and traffic, this is one that will always work. And when you think about it, a lot of people are like, oh, hey, look, ChatGPT is getting all these people talking to it. Yeah, but you still go to Google to find what restaurant's near you. Like, you could use ChatGPT for that. I think it's a gross misuse of AI. But going through, 8 million people are still searching Google every minute. So while you're over there chasing the next big flash in the pan wonderful thing, you could be using AI to get traffic for yourself, for your clients, and for your customers. That's where it's at. Understanding this is key because a lot of people are going to get sidetracked. A lot of people are not going to look at the truth of what's going on and how to get involved. SEO and traffic is something that will always be there. It'll just adapt to some online version. And I have noticed, even without trying, even doing my old SEO methods with domains and SEO and things like that, I'm still getting traffic from ChatGPT. I didn't try to. I didn't pay some guru to show me how to get ranked in ChatGPT. I just did what I always did because that's how it always works. If you have good content, it'll rank. And you know, a good domain helps too. We talk about that a lot. Content marketing, always key. I've noticed a lot of influx on Facebook traffic and YouTube traffic right now. Starting to understand, okay, how can I scale? Right now, you should be able to put out the output of like 5 or 10 people. And if you're not, you're missing the boat because you can. Other people are doing it. You need a system. This is one of the things that we're teaching in AI Profit Scoop is how to build systems for your business. We're actually going to do one on tomorrow's bootcamp call where we're taking Valeria, who is our site builder, and I'm going to show her how to take a business that I'm starting with her and systemize it with AI. So that literally all you do is you wake up and you're like, okay, I click the Start Here button. It gives me the task, and then it has the AI tools in it, so she could just click, 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 follow through. This is key. Companies want this now. They want it now. And very few people will meet them on their level. ChatGPT is great, but to a dentist who wants clients, it means nothing. What if I can automate and build something that's going to help them and make it work? Just yesterday, I was talking to Matt. I don't know if Matt's still here in the chat. Matt in the chat, there you go. Matt was talking to me about how he's making automations for clients, and he was expecting a bigger amount on one of his gigs, but still, they came back with like 22 grand plus, you know, some other amount. It was pretty cool. I was like, okay, well, there's money. You just got to negotiate it bigger, which is pretty cool. And starting to understand, okay, you can automate things for businesses and get paid a really good amount, right? And we were talking about what these things should be charged. And, you know, I think that for some businesses, 5x that amount is not that big of a stretch considering what it does. If it's going to save them money or make them money, they're all in. And starting to look at that, it's like, okay, well, you got an offer on the table, which means this stuff works. This stuff works. And that's key. Automation setup is key. Reporting on updates, I love this. Like, if I could just report on AI updates and talk about business all day, that's what I'd do because I just like it. Probably drive my family nuts with it because that's what I talk about and that's what I like. But that's something I'm going to do also. Another thing I'm going to do is market to data. I'm going to look at the data and see exactly what's going on. In the 2006, 2008 financial crisis, we saw a lot of people turn to the internet for information, and it just so happens that those advertisers in downturn times actually up the spending because they're getting more customers. So people that are looking for like how to file for bankruptcy, debt consolidation, credit counseling, what happens if I stop paying my bills, can't pay this, can't buy that. All of these terms go up like crazy. Max says, do automations mean learning coding to make advanced tools? Learning vibe coding and your way around code, yes. Like, I'm not a coder. I can't just sit and understand code. But we do, like Alina here, who does our coding, she's pretty much self-taught with AI. She's been doing it like maybe a year now, 6 months on the coding side. So you don't have to learn coding like, oh, I need to go learn this whole language, but you do need to learn a little bit to get by. And we have classes on that. We have a lot of live trainings we do on vibe coding. We actually have one coming up. So AIProfitScoop.com, you can learn about those. We do teach some of it in there as well. So if you're in the paid AI Profit Scoop, which is literally like the most affordable program ever, that's why I made it. I wanted it so that everyone has no excuse but to get help. Like, okay, you could go there to literally like 50 cents a day, and you get help and you get calls every week and we help you with stuff. Now, I do upsell, of course, because, you know, I'm not in it just for 17 bucks a month. But for those that's the option, it is a great way to go, great way to get help, because you could get questions answered each week. We have AI tools in there. We have cool prompts we use, all kinds of stuff like that. Some other things that people look up. This is where we're talking about marketing to the data, right? You could set up websites about, okay, here's how to thrive in the AI bubble, or here's how to get this or that. Looking at different things that they look up related to like eviction, foreclosure, food assistance, utility assistance, helping people out. That's what this really boils down to, is how can I help people with information? Because a lot of people don't know certain things. They don't know that there's a third option. They don't know that, okay, foreclose or go bankrupt. Okay, well, there's other options out there. It's not just those two. And if you can help people with AI tools and different things like that, that's key. And we've actually done really well making little tools that help people and help them understand things, help them use things, right? Always be ethical, always be good, always focus on what's going to help your user at the end of the day, and focus on how AI can make it easier for them, right? Starting to understand, like, I could literally make whatever I want with AI. Right? Like, it's almost like the sky is the limit. Obviously, there's some things you can't do. But with AI and a programmer, I could pretty much make a website do pretty much whatever I wanted to do. I can make a cool calculator. I can make a robust answer engine that would use AI to help them understand the best thing to do with, you know, their finances or this or that, or selling their house or not. Starting to look at that. Zeneca says 17 bucks a month is amazing. Yes, we are going to raise it soon because I think it's kind of ridiculous. But again, I wanted it for the masses. I wanted it to where it's like you can get help without having to pay a guru $10 zillion for information that's not specific. I think what far too many people are doing is they're looking at generic information. So they go and they're like, hey, Elon Musk, what's the secret to getting rich? Well, if I want to know how to raise capital in the VC world, Elon's my guy. If I'm not doing that, then that's not going to help me. Jeff Bezos, what's the best way to get rich? Well, let's look at what helped him back in the day when he was where you're at. Or you look at Gary Vee. Oh, Gary Vee, what's the best way to make money? Newsflash, there is no best way to make money. There is no best affiliate program. There is no best niche. They all work if you do it right. If you understand marketing and you understand direct response and you understand where things are, that's the key. Because far too many gurus, they just say too much stuff. And, you know, unfortunately in the guru world, when you make money fast, myself included, luckily I went to rehab and got sober and, you know, changed my way of thinking, but it goes to your head and you think you know everything. And you have to get to a point in your life where you're like, yeah, I don't know everything. I know what I know about what I know. Like, do I know how to get SEO traffic? Do I know how to build a business online from nothing? I do. Those are things that I do know. Do I know how to do VC capital? No. Do I know how to invest in Bitcoin? No. Do I know how to fix a car? No. I don't know much about anything else, but I know about this. And understanding that it is your job. This is something I learned in rehab where he said, I went to my counselor and I was like, man, you're really teaching me a lot. And he like raised his voice at me and he's like, not in a bad way, but just so I'd get it. And he's like, I don't teach you anything. You learn. Learning is an active process. And I'll never forget that because it's my job to extract the information from the places that are going to help me, from the people that are going to help me. Instead of listening to what all these billionaires are doing, listen to someone who is in your boat that can build something the way you want. What are they doing? Like, I'd rather learn from a guy who started an AI startup who makes $500 a month than some guru who did drop shipping 10 years ago and, for whatever reason it worked. Right? I want to learn from the guy who's got something that's actually working that I can reverse engineer and focus on. Ego, unfortunately, there's a great book by Ryan Holiday that talks about ego is the enemy, and it truly is. Like, there's so much ego in these industries, it's ridiculous. Even at the billionaire level, it's like, a big contest. And it's like, well, didn't you kind of already win? You have like more money than most countries. I would think, the ego would kind of go away, but who knows? In their position, I might do the exact same thing. But starting to look at it and say, in this AI bubble, it is my responsibility to take care of myself. Nobody else does it, unfortunately. Like when I was 1999, 2000, 2001, we figured out, okay, you're going to have a kid and you need to make some money. Nobody stepped up and was like, I'll pay your bills while you figure things out. That would have been nice, but I wouldn't have learned the lessons I learned. I had to learn them the hard way. And going through and looking at that, what did I do? I looked at things that worked. I didn't pay attention to gurus. There was gurus out there. There was forums of gurus. That's where they hung out. Like, oh, hey, buy my crap, whatever. But there was little pockets of people that were really unheard of. And, I'd go buy a book here. I'd watch what someone did here. I'd always invest off of what I actually earned. I didn't go out there and be like, I'm going to loaf over all this money and hope it works. No, I'd build, get a sale for $500 and go spend, $200 on learning and put the other $300 into my bills or whatever. And starting to understand that it's your job to learn what you need to learn and build what you need to build. And if you understand how to use AI right, it's the most powerful thing ever. I think far too many people just don't get it. They just don't get it. They're like, AI's cute, it's fun, it gives good information. How did Google make trillions of dollars? How did Google make trillions of dollars? Well, they organized the world's information. That was their mission statement. We're going to organize the world's information. Did they do it good? They did it the best out there, but they could do better. And there's a lot of flaws in the system. And now that we have AI, same thing. It's organizing the world's data, making it think different, and all this stuff. But could it be done better? Yeah. Could it be done better for a small group of people? 1,000%. And if you understand that and you realize the power of what AI can do, that's where this starts to change. And you start to look at this AI bubble and you're like, wait a minute, I could do a month of research in a day to get the output that I want. I mean, look at the amount of research that went into this training here. Right? There's a lot of research. There's a lot of thought that went into it, and it was all AI. I used AI to get my talking points and figure it out. And that's where this comes into play. Like, if you know what you know, like let's say you're good at basketball, and you know how to help people that are my size dunk, which isn't going to happen. I'm 5 feet tall, 5'1" on a good day. That basket is way up there. I ain't going to get there. But at any rate, let's say you were the perfect guy. You know how to help people that are terrible at basketball be the best. But you don't know how to organize your thoughts and put it into something that you can actually make money with. AI can do that for you. And when you pair these with certain things, like, well, let's go buy an old basketball domain that taught basketball. Maybe it was a business that went out of business, and I can get that domain, and I could build it up, and I could use AI to help me schedule this content out, make this content, make the outlines, because I don't know what to do, right? And I think overall, I mean, you guys be the judge, I think AI has made me a lot better teacher. I've been able to teach in a much more systematic way where it's not so much like, crazy stuff like ADD ramblings, but it's more focused. Max says, does automation got to be right away, or can we work our way to it? You can work your way to it. I think that learning how to automate things is key because it'll help you in the long run. And what's going to happen here is more than ever, money's going to favor speed, right? That's why right now you have a lot of people making garbage content and they're making a fortune. I mean, it's it puts my numbers to shame. And I look at it and I'm like, I could do that, but I'm not going to, because I think that brain rot content is negative for humanity. So even though I could probably make an extra 7 figures making junk content, I'm not going to do it because that's just how I roll. I don't want to make things that make minds all messed up, right? That's not what I do. There's certain things I won't do. There's certain ethics and moral things that I'm like, I could make money with it, but I don't. But they're out there and they're doing that. And some of them don't care. I mean, that's my personal issue. That has nothing to do with other people. If people are going to watch it and they're going to pay for it, I mean, whatever, to each his own. But understanding, like, speed is going to be the key. And if you need to learn what you need to learn, like yesterday, and starting to understand that if you're not getting ahead, you're getting behind, I think is key. If you're not getting ahead, you're getting behind. Like Max says, should we do automation right away? Well, if you're not getting ahead there, you're getting behind. And sometimes I feel myself getting behind. There's a lot going on, but I need to stay in my lane and do what I do and not get sidetracked. It's easy to go get sidetracked and be like, oh, well, here's this guy making this content and making money. That's not my lane. Could I make more money with it? Yeah, I can make money with everything. That's the problem. The problem is everything can make money. There's so many ways to make money. That's the problem. It's not finding one that works. They all work if you do it, within reason. Obviously, there's some scams and junk out there, but if it's a solid idea, within reason, it'll work. Like Alan came to us a couple months ago. He's here in the chat, and he's like, dude, I want to get customers. And I'm like, do this and this. And I'm pretty sure he was like, yeah, that seems a little too simple. I kind of don't want to do that, Marcus. It seems really simple and stupid, but a couple hours later, he had a customer. And starting to look at that and say, hey, I'm going to stay in my lane. Like if Alan stays in his lane, he's like, okay, I'm doing this stuff for these tax people. That's what I'm doing. Okay, could you make a video marketing empire? Yeah, you could. Could you make a software empire? Yeah, you could. But you got something that's working, stick with it. Find something that you're going to make work and stick with it. Use AI to help you with it. Focus. Ignore the noise. In the world of AI, the biggest bubble is going to be ignoring the noise. There's so much noise. There's so much garbage. There's so much coming at you. I think I read something that said we get like 5,000 advertisements a day. I think that's a little much, but maybe it's true. I don't know. That camera says Panasonic. That says ObSpot. Are those advertisements? I don't know. But at any rate, looking at that, I mean, you got what? 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 on me right now. But starting to look at that and understand, okay, we are in a world of mass noise. The news cycle is so small, we can't digest or learn anything. Like people who argue politics, it's like, I can't argue politics because I don't know. I read a headline, but by the time the headline's out, is probably 10 million more different things. There's so many things, and what we need to do is we need to focus, stay in our lane, figure out what we want to do, figure out what's ethical and good and what works. And at the end of the day, it's about getting a customer to buy something or getting someone to opt in or see content for ads or whatever it is. Starting to understand that is absolutely important. And that's where the key is getting rid of the noise. It's what you don't listen to is almost more important than what, actually, no, I'm going to say what you don't listen to is more important than what you do listen to. Because all of the stuff that you're listening to is affecting the way you think and feel. For me, a lot of people are shocked, but I don't use social media. Like if you want to, talk to me and you're a family member, you're not going to find me. I don't do that. I do it for work. Why? I can't stand social media. I don't really like it. I'm like, okay, Facebook, I don't want to, I don't care about that. But I use it for business. And that kind of helps me because it's like, okay, now I'm not getting sidetracked. I'm using it for business. Now, if you do like using it personal, get a personal one, get a business one. And start to understand, like, you are the manager of what you do. Like, it's your business, it's your job, it's your stuff. You are in control of what you do and what you don't do and what you consume and what you don't consume and the directions you take. So what I want to do is I want to get really good at making good decisions and controlling what content I consume. And if it doesn't fit in this box of teaching AI methods, helping productivity, SEO and traffic, content marketing, automation setup, reporting on updates, or marketing to data, then I don't look at it. And when I do look at stuff, I'm always looking at it through the lens of how's it going to fit into this. It's called categorical reference. You're taking new ideas and putting them into different categories that you already know. Couple of questions. What's my favorite video AI? I didn't want to like it, but I had to use it today because I ran out of credits on Gemini VO3. But I kind of did like Sora for the short stuff. I like that. I have not found a good long-form video creator, not even close. All of them that I've tried, I do not like. AI is helping me deal with your clients. Excellent. People are all over the place with AI. Agreed. So 10 articles a week with automation is small or a lot. Depends on what you're trying to do. Like, to say 10 articles a week is a lot, I don't know what you're trying to do. Like, if you have a website and you're building it for a certain purpose, well, what are the articles going to be on and what's the goal? Like, if you're writing articles just because you think you're supposed to write articles, no, you need to write articles because you have something to write articles about, and that article needs to lead to something that's going to be profitable if you're looking to do this as a business. So to say 10 is a lot or small, I mean, it's relative. Everything is relative, and that's where, like, gurus who talk in absolutes, I think, do more harm to the market than good, because it's like, oh, this absolutely works. Well, no, it worked for you for this one thing for this one time. There's 1,000 other things that work too. So starting to understand that is absolutely key. And these are the things I'm going to focus on. Remember, this is a business. It's something that you got to build, you got to do. There does take some resilience. Like, okay, yeah, if I was the type that would just give up, I probably wouldn't have made it this far through the different crashes and bubbles that I made it through. But because I look at this, I mean, I thought AI was going to take out my business overnight. But I rolled with it and it made it even bigger. There were search engine things where I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, our income has literally dropped by 90% overnight. What do? I adapted. I made it work. I grew. I was flexible. I looked at the trends. I looked at, okay, every time something happened, oh, I lost my traffic, I would wake up and be like, well, are there still people online looking at the content that I make? Yes. It's just not mine, so I need to figure out how to make it mine. Very important. Marcus, let's see. Michael says, I've been following you for years. Your teaching is gold standard. I made my first $1 online doing what you said. Well, Michael, congrats, and thank you for that. I try to keep it real. I try to keep it informative and good and stuff that will actually help. And if you like that, join up at AIProfitScoop.com. Hop on our calls, get the help you need. We'll give you real-world advice. I always ask everyone when they ask me a question on the live, I say, do you want me to be honest or do you want me to be nice? And I'm not going to be mean, but I will be honest if I think your idea or your site is not going to make it, because I believe in telling you the stuff the way you need to hear it, not what keep, like I could just be like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, just keep paying me. Okay, that's not, I want you guys to get result. I do like getting paid, but I want to give you something that's actually going to work. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. If you do, smash the like button. Remember, this is a business. The results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Always follow all the rules. Just because you can do something with AI doesn't always mean you should do something with AI. Focus on good. There's plenty to go around. I think the key is in serving the underutilized niches and making it work. So let me know your thoughts on the AI bubble. Smash that like button. Check out AIProfitScoop.com, and we'll see you in the next training. Thanks for watching.